Hello and welcome to this training from The Successful Mentalist. Today we're going to be talking about the CPV method, which is 5 steps to setting your fees, converting more leads, and giving clients exactly what they need, not just what they want. Now, if you ever feel like you're plucking numbers out of thin air when you're setting your fee, you'd be right to feel that way, because 90% of the time that's exactly what we do. We just grab some numbers, or better yet, we look at what other entertainers are charging and we just mimic or replicate that. Well, the first thing I want to do before we even get any further into this training is to say immediately, and I'm going to repeat this twice, do not set your fees based on other entertainers' fees. Okay, so do not set your fees based on other entertainers' fees. The only reason that you should know what other entertainers are charging in your area, in your industry, in your niche, is so that you understand what angle your clients will be coming from if they've decided to inquire with a lot of people. Just because a lot of other people are only charging £200 and you're charging £1,000, it does not make a difference, providing that you know that that's what their expectations might be. Okay, so what we're basically saying here is that if everyone else is charging £200, you can comfortably charge £1,000, providing that you follow the CPV method correctly and to the letter. Now, perhaps you want to charge more, but you're not confident with actually asking for more money for the same stuff. Perhaps you're already doing some gigs right now and you can't really justify increasing, doubling, tripling your fee because it just feels a little bit weird. You're not confident with doing that, and maybe past clients will find out that you're charging more and it might get awkward. Don't worry about that. This is something that we're going to be covering in this training. Perhaps you're struggling to convert inquiries into paid bookings and you feel like it's your fee that's the deterrent. It's your fee that's putting people off. Well, a lot of the times that's kind of what the industry makes it feel like. For example, you pitch to a client and they say, oh, sorry, that's out of my budget. Or, sorry, let me just check with our budget. Oh, no, it doesn't look like that fits. We're not going to be able to pursue this entertainment option right now. We hear that an awful lot, and we often then think immediately, oh, maybe I'm charging too much. And then we get into this spiral of decreasing our fee until it's just worthless and we need 100 gigs a month just to pay the bills. That is not what we want to be doing. And the whole truth behind that is that clients often don't know, or don't perceive the value that you're offering to be significant enough to actually warrant your fee. And that's one of the things that we'll talk about in a little while. So again, to be really clear, the good news is that setting your fee properly, following the CPV method and the 5 steps that we're going to explore in a little while, will absolutely transform your entertainment business, and it will resolve all of these challenges, plus a lot more that we probably don't even think about right now. However, the bad news is that there is some maths involved. So again, I'm sure you are fully aware of this. This is a fee setting training, and everything at TSM here is actionable, and we want to make sure that you're doing this. So please go ahead, grab your calculators, your notepads, your pens, everything right now. Take notes as you're going through this if you need to, and actually do the work involved. Because there is one thing that I hate more than anything else, and that's watching a training video and thinking, oh, that's cool, I'll implement that later. Because later never comes. It's just like that old saying of, oh, this is great, I can do the work right now, and I'll make sure that I'm adding all of this into my entertainment business tomorrow. Because tomorrow never comes. What we want you to do for this training right now is follow along, do the work right now, pause the video as we go through if you need a moment to do some maths or work some things out, and then keep going and do this entire 5-step process, the full CPV method right now, so that you can actually drag and drop this into your entertainment business as soon as we finish this video. Now, the CPV method itself can look like a little bit of a triad, and if it helps, draw that out so you can see this at all times. And what we're going to do is we're going to break down the C, the P, and the V, give you a really clear definition of what this actually looks like, so that you understand where we're coming from when it comes down to implementing this in your entertainment business. So step number 1 is actually looking at the cost. The C in CPV is the cost. And what do we mean by the cost? Well, the cost is quite simply the total expenses required in order to create and deliver a product. So this might look like things such as your travel costs, your props, your equipment, your time, any form of resource that you have to put into this booking. It comes under the overall expenses. And right now, one of the obvious things is to think, okay, great, it cost me this much in travel to get to the gig. I need a new deck of cards for every single gig, and maybe this one other prop, magic prop. That's all of my expenses. Well, there's so much more to this, because think, you don't just show up at gigs magically and perform, and that's what you get paid for. You get paid for all of the work that you're putting in beforehand to generate the lead, do all the paperwork, get all that admin sorted, and then show up. And then we've also got follow-up afterwards. We've got follow-up after the gig to make sure that you're getting your feedback, your testimonials, all of these other amazing things. All of this should be considered. And the easiest question right now to ask yourself is, how much time does it cost to actually take a client from inquiring all the way through to following up and post-booking? And if you don't have a sort of a number or a rough estimate for that figure right now, maybe that's something that you should go and calculate. We'll talk about this a little bit more later on as we go through the method, but right now, cost is the total expenses required to create and to deliver a product. Now, P is the price, and that's the second pillar of the CPV method. The price is quite simply the amount a client must pay in order to receive the product, allowing for a comfortable profit to be made. In short, this is your fee. How much are you actually charging for the services that you are offering? And then finally, the V is value. Okay, value, and that's the third part, the C, P, and V. I think it makes a lot more sense now. And again, we didn't name this very creatively. It's pretty obvious what the C, the P, the V actually is here: cost, price, value. And the value is quite simply defined as the overall impact that the product will have for your clients. And the really great question that you should always be asking yourself is, what are they really paying for? What are the clients really paying for? And I'll give you a little hint right now. It's probably not entertainment. You see, you're a more valuable asset to their event rather than just face value, entertainment value. There is so much more that you offer as an entertainer, whether you realize it right now or not. And hopefully through this training, you'll start to realize that and come up with some really useful ways and value points that you wouldn't even be thinking of at any other point. And that really is it. That's the CPV, the cost, price, and value. The cost is your total expenses upon the delivery and fulfillment of your product. Your price is your fee, the amount that you're actually charging to deliver the product. And then value is the impact of your product or your service. What is the tangible impact that you're going to make at that event for the client, etc., etc. And now you're probably sitting here thinking, great, I've got 3 definitions and a triangle drawn out on my notepad. What the heck am I going to do with this? Now what? Well, the good news is that you can use this 5-step CPV method, the full method right now, to actually implement this into your entertainment business. And the biggest challenge right now is that so many people get confused over what we mean by the cost and the price and the value. Hence, we've got definitions. But before we do anything, we want you to ignore the price for now. Because at the end of the day, that is the end result. And 90% of the whole challenges or questions and limitations that we put on ourselves around finances and fee setting, etc., it's all a mindset game. And the easiest way to separate your mindset from the process right now is to just ignore it and leave it and keep it for later. Don't try and jump to your fee right now. Instead, we're going to get to that point later on, and that's when you can bring back your mindset. For now, let's put your brain aside and just do some simple maths to get you to the right point. Okay, so before we go anywhere, ignore the price. That's where we're going, but that's not what you need to think about right now. Now, step 1 to all of this CPV method is to choose your product or offering. You see, as entertainers, we're really good at being able to do lots of different things, whether that's up stage, up close, whether you're mingling around tables between meal courses, or whatever it is that you're offering. Chances are you're probably offering a lot of different things. And that might just be for one type of event. For example, if you're on your website, it says that you do weddings and corporate events and parties and funerals. Like we know somebody that does that. It's very weird, but it seems to work for them, so fair play to them. But when you've got these lots of different doorways, if you like, The problem is that you're then trying to get a lot of different people, funnel them through the right doorway in the hope that that will convert into a booking. When actually what we want to do is we want to get rid of those 4 doors and just have one door that works really, really well. Because at the end of the day, if a wedding client comes to your website and they see that, oh, you're a wedding entertainer, whereas every other entertainer does everything else under the sun, you look more specialist. And as a result, you look much more professional and you look more appealing for them based on what their needs and wants are. So again, get that really, really clear. And the easiest way to work out what is your core offering, your core product right now going to be, well, just pick what you enjoy the most. If you really love being on stage, and perhaps you absolutely love corporate events, that's the thing that you love doing right now, well, maybe after dinner stage performances at corporate events is what you're going to specialize in for now. And the key here is that you get to play to your strengths, you get to play to where you want to go, what direction you actually want to be taking your life and entertainment business, and make that decision and start offering that. And that's what we're going to use right now. Just pick something for the purpose of this video training. Which offering, service, event type do you enjoy the most? Step 2 is to then calculate your total expenses. Now, as entertainers, we're really, really good at being able to spend a lot. It's the simplest way. We're really good at spending a lot. And I know earlier we spoke about like travel and props and equipment, but we want you to think so much more than this, because at the end of the day, you could make £10,000 a year from your entertainment. However, if you're spending £12,500 on that, on tricks, books, DVDs, all sorts of other things, Facebook ads, and if you are running Facebook ads, we'll have this conversation another time, but you could probably stop that unless you're desperately finding a process that really works, but that's a conversation for another time. But the chances are that if you're making 10,000 and you're losing and spending 12,500, you're actually losing £2,500 a year on this, and we don't want that. So for every trick, book, DVD, any expense, any prop, any piece of equipment, any training video that you actually purchase, we want to make sure that you're actually incorporating that and reflecting that in your fee. And one of the things that we'd love to do actually is actually take a look at, say, the next trick or the book that you've bought. Divide that by 12, because what we actually get is per month how much you need to be making as part of your fee to cover for that this year. So for example, if a book costs £120 for the sake of good numbers, well, you divide that by 12 and actually look at how much right there, £10 a month, you need to be including into your expenses just to cover this one book's purchase. And it's really important. And what we're going to actually talk about is a really useful process actually in a little while called the annual Thrive number, which can help you actually work that out, the overall cost value. But step 3 is to identify the transformation value. Okay, identify the transformation value. Now, earlier on I said that it's not always just entertainment that your clients actually are getting out of you. It's often so much more. Well, here is where we need to look at what you're actually doing. And in Learn to Thrive, our elite coaching course, 7-week coaching course, this is one of the things that we train up really, really powerfully, actually, to make sure that you understand the tangible transformation that you being at this event will actually do. Because at the end of the day, are you there just entertaining people, or are you there bringing groups together and boosting the overall atmosphere? Are you breaking the ice, if that's the approach that you really want to go? And what you need to basically do is look at for everything, every component of your act, every component of your offering, what is the actual advantage that the client is getting out of that? For example, if you exclusively do card magic, why is that a benefit to your clients? Why is that an absolute benefit over somebody, say, who does mentalism and then does coin tricks and then card tricks and rope magic and all sorts of other things? What does that actually mean? And what you want to do is you want to craft a really powerful way of understanding what the transformative value of that actually is. So, for example, if your specialist is bringing groups together that aren't usually talking as you mix and mingle at parties, well, that's a really core feature and an advantage of your event. But the transformation is actually the wider thing. You're getting everybody talking, you're breaking the ice. Suddenly, the party actually feels like everybody's connected rather than just a bunch of different groups all at the same event. You see, what we want to do through this process is create no-brainer offers. And again, what that looks like is, say, I have a £100,000 problem. It cost me £100,000. If you can show up to me with a solution to that £100,000 problem for just £10,000, right there and right then, that is a no-brainer offer. Yes, I will pay £10,000 to cover for my £100,000 problem. And I'm not saying that every single client you'll ever meet has £100,000 worth of problems at their events, but what we want to do is we want to find these opportunities that are absolutely no-brainers. The opportunities that if you could fix and transform this one area of their event, that is exactly what they'd be paying for, not just entertaining them. Okay, and if you're not really sure on how to actually do this, a really great process is to ask theoretical questions to your clients, to past clients, to people that are maybe not even booking you or clients at all. They're just people that you know that have a connection to this industry, whichever industry you're going down, and ask these theoretical questions. Perhaps you might want to ask them is, what's the biggest challenge that you're facing with your wedding right now? And then based off of the back of that, that's not a theoretical, that's a really core question that we should be asking our clients to understand them better. But then a theoretical question could be something like, and how much would you be willing to pay if you could just pay somebody and have all of those challenges disappear? Now, what we do here is we get a number. We ask them for a number, a theoretical number. So there's no meaning behind it. There's nothing there. But we get this theoretical number right now that the client has put on their biggest challenges. And what you can do is you can identify a way, if possible, within your product, your service, your offering, that you can actually solve that problem for them. And as a result, you have this sort of number, this figure, which brings us on to point 4, actually, setting your ballpark range. Now, in a wonderful game of baseball, that's an American thing, so I'm probably going to butcher an awful lot of the analogies here, because this isn't my cup of tea at all. But in a game of baseball, there's very sort of narrow window, this sort of 90-degree window that you have to hit the ball in that 90-degree window. You go outside of that, it's a foul, it doesn't count. Whereas also if you go really, really far off the edge of the thing, I actually think that's a good thing in baseball, but for the sake of this metaphor, if you hit the ball way over that line, you're actually going to be going outside of their budget and outside of their comfortable zone, if you like. So what we need to basically make sure that we're doing is through our offers, we've got our ballpark range. We know what range we're playing with in terms of what do we actually offer and how much can we charge for that offer. And all we need to do really is set this semi-realistic maximum fee for your clients. And the reason we say semi-realistic is because if you've done this right and you angle your products and your services right, even their maximum or their absolute top end budget can be blown out of the water in favor of having you at their event. It's something that me and Ashley have both experienced just by simply getting this angle right. So set this minimum sort of semi-realistic fee and the maximum fee from your client perspective. And again, if it just helps get your mindset out of the way, and this is a little bit confusing, just aim for 10 to 20% of that transformation value. Remember, we asked the theoretical question of how much would it cost to get rid of this as a complete challenge? Well, pick 20% of that and you could set that out as your fee if that fits. But remember, the core thing that we need to do is rebalance this using your personal minimum fee. So that incorporates all of your product expenses. We calculated that earlier on in points 1 and 2 of this entire process, picking that offer and identifying how much that actually costs. We need to make sure that we're actually meeting that in the product. Otherwise, again, we're just losing money by delivering our product, which is not good. And if you want a really, really useful resource to actually help you with this, we've got something called the Vision Stack. And if you want to grab that, it's over at thesuccessfulmentalist.com/vision. It's a totally free training designed to take you through the 5 levels that you actually need to focus on in order to become thriving and hustle free as an entertainer. And as a bonus at the end of that training, we basically break down a process called the annual Thrive number, which will allow you to basically put some numbers in and get your fee served straight to you on a plate. So you don't even need to question and think about how much to charge now. You basically plop in all your expenses into this formula and it will give you your exact result, which is so useful. So if you want to grab that, I highly recommend that you do, because there's so much value in that. We're not going to cover it here, but it's over at thesuccessfulmentalist.com/vision. Totally free. We want to make sure that you've got this information if you haven't already got it. And finally, we've got step 5, which is actually to go and pitch this. Because at the end of the day, you've got no idea whether this is actually going to work unless you get the offer in front of your clients. So you go through this process of working out your actual transformation value. You actually work out how much it costs. You use that to kind of get the ballpark range and set a fee through the annual Thrive number. Well, step 5, you've got to get that feedback from your clients, whether they buy or not. You see, if they do jump on your offer, you've got to ask them, what about this offer made this a complete yes and a complete win for you? What about this offer wasn't a complete win? Why didn't you choose this offer? Or perhaps if you do some clever packaging where you've got multiple different packages, what made you go for this package over another package or over my top tier package, for example? And what we want to be doing is opening this feedback loop here and getting that feedback from your clients and prospects every single time so that you can tweak, you can improve your offering and make sure that you're delivering and angling your services in the best way possible. And again, this is exactly what myself and Ashley are doing. We've been working through some really pretty big packages to offer to prospect clients. And right now we know that the product and the package that we're offering is good, but it's not great. So what we have to do is get that in front of prospects and ask them, what would make this package a complete win for you? What would make this package so much better? What are we missing from this package that you think we could make better? And over time, we tweak and improve this package, this big package, so that actually clients would be more appealing. It'd be more appealing for clients later down the line. And just to really summarize the CPV method in 5 clear steps here. Step 1 is to choose a product or an offering. Step 2 is to calculate the total expenses, including your props, your travel, your equipment, your time, both before and after the gig as well. Don't forget to include that. Identify the transformation value. Get feedback from your clients using the theoretical questions like we explained. Actually use those opportunities to look and break down your entire act and work out what the tangible benefit and transformation value is of this specific feature of your act. Again, remember, what we want to do is find our clients' £100,000 problems and give them a £10,000 solution. So it's a no-brainer offer. And the only way to do that is to get feedback and really understand your act more importantly. And again, you can use that and balance that out through the annual Thrive number process by setting your ballpark range. Okay, so set that semi-realistic maximum fee. And again, if it helps get your mindset out of the way, aim for 10 to 20% of that dream transformation value that they gave you in their theoretical questions, if that fits. And again, rebalance that using your personal minimum fee, incorporating your product expenses. So actually go through and take out the number from point 2, how much it costs a month to actually run your entertainment business, and make sure that is reflected in your quotes, in your fee overall. And then finally, pitch it. Go and get feedback from clients, whether they buy that package or not, whether they book you or they book someone else. Get the feedback, because that is the only thing that is going to transform you as an entertainer and help get you more leads over time. And that's essentially the CPV training. That's everything that you possibly need to know in order to actually take the CPV method right now and implement this into your entertainment business. If you've got any questions about this whatsoever, if there's a comment box just beneath this video, if you're watching on social media or in our network, drop a comment just below and we'll be able to help you out with that. And again, don't forget to head over to thesuccessfulmentalist.com/vision to grab the complete vision stack training and the annual Thrive number process. Tie that into the CPV method here, and you're going to have a transformational journey within the entertainment career that you're offering. Best of luck with this. And if you've got any questions, be sure to reach out and we'd love to help.